Alright, boils and ghouls, let's talk The Nun 2 really briefly, because I don't have a lot to say about this movie. Now, for my stance on the Conjuring universe films in general, I've done videos on the first two Conjurings, yeah. The second one's my favorite out of all the Conjuring verse films. I like the first one. Annabelle Creation's my second favorite. Annabelle Comes Home is pretty fun. That's about it. I'm not a big fan of these movies, especially the Annabelle film, the original one. I think that's a terrible movie. Same with the first Nun movie. I think it's terrible. Conjuring the Devil Made Me Do It. Terrible. It's not good at all. And now this Chavez, who directed Devil Made Me Do It, is the director here for The Nun 2. One thing positive I can give The Nun 2 is it's better than The Nun 1 in every way possible, pretty much. Which, it's not hard to do that. Because like I said, I do not like the first one. And the vast majority of people that I talk to, and that are horror fans, did not like the first Nun movie. So this one is better. The story is a little more interesting. It's going to be mostly spoiler free. The acting is good, which is kind of weird because Thaisa Farmiga, obviously the sister of Vera Farmiga, who is just a gem and is a phenomenal actress. I've always liked Thaisa. On American Horror Story and a few other things that I've seen her in, and The Nun. She's great here too, but she always has this thing where she overacts a little bit for small stretches. Especially if she's giving a monologue or something like that, or she's talking for quite a decent amount of time, she starts overacting. And there's a few scenes in this movie, the same exact thing happens. She's usually a very, very good actress. She's just on nowhere near the level that her sister Vera is. Vera Farmiga is just, like I said, a gem. The story here is very bare bones. Same with the first movie. It's a very thin story with just a bunch of jump scares thrown in. That's basically why people didn't like the first movie. It's why I didn't care for the second one here too. Plot synopsis, as brief as can be without spoilers, it's just a continuation from the last movie. Frenchie, who we found out at the end of the first Nun, was possessed during the whole showdown at the end of the movie with Irene and Valak, the demon. So he's still possessed by Valak, and he's going around different religious locations, like convents and churches and other places and stuff in Europe, trying to find another very, very rare artifact, like the actual real blood of Jesus Christ from the first movie. They have some luck in these movies, man, finding just artifacts from so long ago that shouldn't even exist, but yet they're able to find them. So Valak is trying to find another artifact that can bring him, as a demon, a ton of power, and Sister Irene and this other nun that is questioning her faith have to go on the mission to try to stop him. That's basically all you need to know. The acting's good. Like I said, throughout all of this, just a little bit of overacting from Thaisa, but that's just a me thing with her. I guess other people think she's fine. I think she overacts a decent amount in almost everything I've ever seen her in. That takes it down a little bit, but overall she does a great job. Her character is explored a little bit more in this. We see some flashbacks of her mother and her childhood. But it's hard for me to care about this character when I already don't give a shit about her from the first movie. So, just the fact that they made a sequel to a movie that was so almost universally not liked, that was a big risk. And I don't know if it paid off. I don't know the consensus on this movie. The guy who plays Maurice, I forget his name, Maurice, aka Frenchie, I liked him in the first movie. I like him here in the second movie. Then there's this whole little side plot going on that it's supposed to be a side plot, but it's supposed to be a reveal, later on, that this place is where they have to go, Sister Irene and the other one with her. They treat it like it's supposed to be a secret, but through the whole movie, this is the place they're going to end up. But the whole side plot between Frenchie and the girl Sophie at the boarding school, and she's being treated like crap by other girls. They're making fun of her. They're scaring the hell out of this girl. I liked that, all of that, more than anything to do with Sister Irene's storyline and Valak. I like all the stuff with Frenchie and Sophie, just like that guardian friendship, even though he is possessed by Valak, but he doesn't know that. Like, they heavily imply that he didn't know that. Like, he didn't know that he was possessed. We're getting into spoilers here, but I should have said that before. All the stuff with just Sophie and the girls making fun of her, and like her and her mom's relationship, all of that was fine. Like that, like I said, was more interesting than the actual main plot with Irene and the other woman. And let's say this about the other woman, because nobody else will, so I'll take the shit for it. None of this is being said in a negative way or anything. It's just something that you see recently in the last 10 years or so. This is supposed to be 1950, the late 1950s. And the woman that they send along with Sister Irene, the nun there, the black woman, it just, to me, it feels like the producers or the studio said, in the first film we had all white characters, so let's make sure we put a non-white character in here. Like, that's that's all I'm saying. And you see that in a lot of movies. Like look at the Star Wars movies, like the newest trilogy, with the Asian girl, and the black dude is the comic relief. It's not a negative, like I said, I don't care. It's just, it feels like it's forced in front of your face. Like, that's the reason why that character is even there, is that it just feels like the studio said, make sure this time we have a colored character. So, like, here you go. I don't know, just an observation. Pretty much the only other positive I could give this movie was there was some good imagery in here. There was some good religious imagery. There was some good demonic imagery. There was people being burned on fire. That's another thing. Someone, like, one or two people actually die in this movie. Like, usually in the Conjuring movies, you don't really see anyone die. This one, you get it, like a death or two. So, that was interesting, seeing that. But besides all the stuff with Sophie and Frenchie and the boarding school, everything to not do with Sister Irene's main plot line, and the aforementioned everything being good on a technical front, like cinematography, sound design, and directing, all that stuff. The story just doesn't do it for me. The jump scares are stupid, and in way too much abundance here, like as usual. And this is just not good. This is just, again, as generic of a horror movie as you can make. No chances taken, nothing interesting, nothing new, nothing creative, no characters to really love, nothing of interest. This is just cookie cutter, mainstream horror, just for the masses. And if you like that, that's great. Like, I like a decent amount of movies like that. Just not this one, man. And not the last one. If this movie disappeared off the face of the earth and I never saw it again, like, it wouldn't affect my life in the slightest. That's The Nun II. It's worth a watch if you're a fan of the Conjuring verse movies, especially. If you're a fan of The Nun, then you'll definitely love this movie. Like, that I can say for sure. If you like the first Nun, and we'll have a talk, we'll get you through it. If you love the first Nun, you'll love this one, because I think this is better in every single way. So, that's The Nun II. So tonight, on Agoraphobe's channel, me and him were watching Pieces, one of my favorite 80s slashers of all time, at 11 p.m., which will lead into Moi's birthday. So, starting it off with Pieces, that's going to be fun. So, alright guys, take care.